Alright, here's the part 2 video. So in this one, we're going to write linear equations in standard form and use intercepts to graph linear functions. So standard form is ax plus by equals c. A, b, and c are integers with the greatest common factor of 1. That's going to be the key, so you'll see what we do when there's not. A is greater than or equal to 0, so that means it has to be positive, and a and b are not both 0. Alright, y-intercept is just where the graph crosses the y-axis. X-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis. Remember that for this, x is 0, and on this one, y is 0. Alright, so first thing we have to do in this one, multiply through by 10 to get rid of that 10 right there. So we're going to multiply everything in this case by 10. So cancels there. Negative 3x is equal to 8 times 10 is 80y minus 15 times 10 is 150. Alright, now we would move the 80y over here, so negative 3x, we're doing it by subtraction. So that's going to be negative 3x minus 80y equals negative 150. Now remember, it said that a, coefficient of x, needs to be positive. So all I'm going to do in this point, at this point, is change every single thing here to a positive. And as long as I do that, we're good to go. So if this is negative, just change all the signs. So since everything had a negative or a minus, I change it all to positive. If this was a plus, it would have become a minus. You'll see that over here. So we have 2y plus 4x plus 5. So I'm going to move the x over, so subtract 4x from both sides. So that's negative 4x plus 2y equals 5. Now again, negative, so I'm going to change that to positive. That's a plus, so I'm going to change it to a minus. And that's a positive, so I'm going to change it to a negative. And that's your answer. It works just like if I have 3 minus 2 equals 1, right? If I change that to a negative, that to a plus, and that to a negative, negative 3 plus 2 equals negative 1. It's the same concept. So as long as I change them all to their opposite, we're good. Alright? So you'll be working with those. Trust me, you're probably going to have questions. I am more than ready to answer questions over this one. Alright, use intercepts to graph a line. So find the x and y intercepts of the graph 2x minus 3y plus 8 equals 0, then graph the equation. So remember, with an x-intercept, y equals 0. So in this case, that's 2x minus 3 times 0 plus 8 equals 0. So that's 2x. Negative 3 times 0 is just 0, plus 8 equals 0. So I want to solve for x, so subtract 8 from both sides. So that gives me 2x equals negative 8. Divide by 2, and x is equal to negative 4. So there's my x-intercept. So the y-intercept, this one, x equals 0. So that's 2 times 0 minus 3y plus 8 equals 0. So again, that's 0, so it goes away. So I have negative 3y plus 8 equals 0. Again, subtract 8. So negative 3y equals negative 8. Divide by negative 3. And y is equal to, in this case, well, be 8 thirds. Which, if you think about it, 3 goes into 8 twice. That would leave us with 2 left over, so it's going to be almost 3, but not quite. So x-intercept is at negative 4. There's 2. I want to be almost on 3, and then you can connect those 2 points with a line. Again, if you have any questions while doing this, make sure you ask. I think if you get your questions answered, you'll be fine. So arrowheads arrowheads, and there's your graph. Okay, so the same thing applies here. So find the x and y intercepts of the graph of y equals 5x plus 12 Alright, so the x-intercept, again this is when y is 0, so 0 equals 5x plus 12, so subtract 12, that's negative 12 equals 5x, divide by 5, and again I know this doesn't go in evenly, but it's going to be negative, and if you actually put this in, it looks like it'll be 2.4, so it's almost halfway between negative 2 and negative 3. Y-intercept, so this time x is 0, so y equals 5 times 0 plus 12, so that's 0, which means y equals 12. So the x-intercept is about halfway between negative 2 and negative 3. That's 10, so 12 is going to be up here. I know, real bad in this case, huh? It's alright, we'll make it work. So connect those with a line. Go ahead and extend that out just a little bit. But you guys are on graph paper, so you guys can make sure that there's 12 up there. And arrowheads, and we are finished. So that's the end of this video. Ask questions as you need them. Main thing here, remember that with an x-intercept, y equals 0, and with the y-intercept, x is equal to 0. If you remember that, this part of this lesson should be really quick and really easy. Alright, go ahead and complete the problem set for this video and ask questions